Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Dina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as always, we cannot talk yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea here, which today is just a classic Earl Grey with a hint of bergamot. So nothing really fancy about this tea today. In fact, I haven't been drinking that much tea lately, but that's mainly due to it's been awfully hot here. While we have had more warm or hot summers, right now it's like 28 to 30 degrees, which is like in Fahrenheit, somewhere between 83 and 85. And while that might not sound very warm for some of you guys, trust me, here in the Netherlands, it's pretty humid and it's just warm. And also don't forget the fact that I don't actually have an air conditioning in this house. So over time, it just heats up and gets warmer and warmer and you're more like, you become sort of, I don't know, lazy and then I don't think about drinking warm things, at least. That's a personal perspective. I still drink my tea, but not as much as I would do during winter. Anyhow, we are not here to talk about the crazy, weird, odd summer weather we've had, but we are here to talk about yarns and projects. Since last time, I finished up my beanie. I had this beanie that I was going to crochet in the Amigo Giga yarn, and it seems like I might have made a teenager / child size because I literally or just extra small. I can't get my head into this. So I can't even show you how it's looking, but the edge or the brim here I made is just definitely XL, and I'm a bit of a larger head-wise, so I am not gonna show you on, but it's just a classic, nothing really crazy, bulky beanie with a double crochet stitch. So you start with the 12 double crochets, you increase around a little with 2 double crochets in each stitch, and etc. But I had the idea after the first 3 rounds of increases that it would be too small, so I increased another few stitches, though not as many as you often would find yourself doing, and then it seemed too big. I flocked it and I stuck to that, and now it's at the smaller end. It will happen, it's what's happening. I'm okay with it. Smaller people also need a nice warm beanie, so this is definitely a size small, and that can also be to do the type of brim that I chose to add, because I just basically slip stitched around so it had this nice sort of edging to it. I don't have an awful lot left. This is the yarn I have left. So basically you can say one skein is one hat, though it is 100% acrylic yarn. So it's not like a warm woolen hat, even though it feels pretty warm on its own because it is a chunky yarn. And I use this 9mm crochet hook from Prims to make it. And the Prim hooks they are really squeaky when they're working with 100% acrylics, or can be really squeaky. But I think this one is very likely or possible going to my donation pile, because I can't really find out what size head this would be. So selling it would maybe not really be the option. So I'm just thinking this is going to go to the donation pile, because I feel like if I want to sell something, I need to be 100% sure it's actually all right, so to say, and it fits. So that's for my donation pile, so to say. At least that's what I'm so far decided. So that's a finished and the only finished project I have this week. I'm kind of happy I just finished up one. And it was nice to work with just something else, something short. I am also still working on my baby blanket, and as I mentioned to you at the beginning of this video, it is pretty warm here, and therefore I haven't been doing as much. And this blanket, it's really warm to sit with because it's starting to cover you just, sorry, I almost yawned. It's starting to cover you when you're working on it. And when it's warm like this, it just gives you like 2 extra blankets kind of feeling, or an extra blanket on top of your clothes. And it's already really warm. So as I predicted last week, I haven't done a lot, but I did have time to do a little, and that was before it became really warm. Let's see if I can find it. So that's the start of the round, I think. That's still like progressing so quickly. I did a little bit more than a side. So this is where I ended last week, Monday, so a week ago. So I made the shells to the corner here, so that's like 3 shells. And then I made the whole side of shells, and then I got to like here. We are still nowhere close to where I originally wanted to be. Now I'm just gonna measure it just to get an idea of how wide it actually is. And it might actually now be wider than what I thought it was. It's on the top edge like 85, and it's not blocked. I'm pretty happy with that actually. It's definitely a decent sized blanket for a baby, which is kind of the idea of it. As you can see, this is how it is. It needs block because in the middle it's just not as stretchy as the rest. And this is kind of what I have left on this skein. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna finish up the skein. I'm gonna finish up that skein, and then once that's finished, I might add a little bit extra white to get to the end of the round so it fits, and then I will be adding the sorry guys, then I will be adding the 3 rows of pink. At least I had the idea that it should be 3 rows of pink, and then I'll add another 2 or 3 rows of white, and then that's it. At least that was the original idea, and I still think I am going to continue with that idea, because you know, sometimes you just gotta stick to the plan. And I think when I have done that, it's pretty close to a meter, even though originally I said I wanted to be a meter and then the edge. But even a meter by meter is still pretty decent for a baby blanket or a nice little small lap gown, or whatever you call it. Yeah. So that's probably what's gonna be happening. Then I have another project that I'm working on, and I am debating if I need to put it on pause, because I vlogged it twice this week, and that is the Oasis cardigan. And I think I've stopped counting basically how many times I vlogged it or how many times I changed it, because I crash into something in the pattern where I'm like, oh fuck, I did it wrong. Sorry for my swearing, but literally that's how it's feeling. So I'm slowly getting to a stage where I might just need a break from this project and look at it with fresh eyes in a week or two. Again, this is the top part. I have, as you can see, actually taken out the space here for the arms. I have an idea of how now they mean that I'm supposed to continue. I spent like another half an hour reading the pattern, at least, yesterday. And basically what I do is then I increase for the arms, or I think I need to increase more. Then I forgot I need to make room for new fans. That's so basically what you have here is, in here you started with a fan, you have new fans, and then up here you need to start new fans. So it's kind of equal all the way out. And I totally did not catch that from the beginning. So I had to unravel like 2 rows. Then I was unsure when I was measuring where on the piece I was supposed to measure because how it's made, it's a little bit different how you get the size, because it's not completely mirrored. You have 7, not 8 fans going out, and with the 7 it's not fully mirrored. Right now I need to find out how I continue the round, and I might even need to flog it because I realize I might have done something wrong. Surprise. That I might have done something wrong, but I will have to read that again and again for these arms. And during this, because I had to I decided, because I made an original piece, which you might remember, where I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this wrong. I could do it quicker. I unflocked it, or well, I didn't. I decided to actually just work the second one and realized that was definitely quicker and looked just as nice. And then I started working from the yarn of that other project. But because the project I'm currently working on, this is gonna be a complex story, but because the project I'm currently working on needed flocked as well, I ended up trying to unravel the other one so I could like get some yarn balls. And now I have like a bunch of these small yarn balls because what was the project that I was flocking from, which would be this one, there's not much left now. I had forgotten, of course, that the other skein I had and was working with, for somehow, you know, sometimes they come with a knot where the yarns are bound together or whatever. And I'd forgotten that, so I already weaved in the ends, and apparently I weave in my ends so well that it's basically impossible to unwrap. And that's the reason why, and that's what I learned last year at this time, is do not sew in your ends until you know that it's complete and you don't need to go back. I learned it and I forgot it apparently. So this is why I have a piece here which is not sewn in, because I know I also have one here in the center. Because if I need to unravel it, it's much easier if I haven't sewn in the ends, because apparently I sew them in so well that I end up with a lot of small threads if I'm trying to unravel it. So I'm going to be one of these persons that's not going to sew in ends a lot. So for the blank, of course, it's easier because when I've made a few rounds, I know that I don't need to go back. But with this, don't sew in ends before you're sure you don't need them anymore. So yeah, basically where I am right now, and so the first mistakes I've made is, of course, when I got up here, I need to repeat from down here again to keep the pattern flowing. But also here, I made the rooms here for the arms, and now I need to figure out how I basically could continue the work, because you need the gap for the arms and the sleeves are made separate, but I still need to work part of this, and I still need to figure out how I do this. And I have been reading through the pattern quite a few times, and I might end up discussing it to see if I can figure out how and what. But it's definitely a pattern that's giving me far more of a headache than I thought it would. Definitely. It's really kicking my ass. I feel like I was challenged when I tried to make the socks last year, which I finished this spring. I felt really challenged with those. This is also pretty challenging. And while I like a good challenge, I'm getting to the pace where it's kinda annoying me. Not giving up yet. It's just, you know, sometimes you need to put things away for a bit and then figure out how to continue. And sometimes when you put it away for a week or 2 weeks or longer, who knows, haven't really decided yet, but sometimes you just need to put it away for a bit. You have to look at it again because you have new fresh eyes. Right now what's happening is basically like when you back at school were doing some sort of written exam and a story or whatever, kind of a small novel or whichever, and you need to proofread it, or your thesis for that matter, and you need to proofread it. You can't proofread it straight away because you're still in that mindset when you wrote it. So you don't find the mistakes just as quickly and as obviously as you would if you could lay it for a week or two or have just different eyes watching it. So I might have to put this away for a little bit and then revert to it and realize what's going on. That's my thought right now, but I haven't fully decided. That's pretty much it. So the other project, or the next project I have that we're going to talk about, is a new project that I started the week before last week. I didn't start it last week, but I started, the week before last week, basically. And that is Country Girl Summer Hat or Sun Hat by Drops Design. Again, another Drops pattern I am probably gonna kill myself for doing. So far, it's going okay, even though maybe my gauge is not fitting. I should maybe have needle sized up 0.25. I'm not completely sure. Or it's just supposed to be as tight. That is made in the Drops Muscat, and that's Merseyside 100% cotton. I'm intentionally making it in this lovely white because that's the color of the summer hat. I think it was absolutely gorgeous. This is basically how far I've gotten. You can see the etching here basically, but that's just me following the pattern, and that's, I guess, gonna be the back end of it. And I intentionally inserted a bunch of stitch markers to ensure that I keep track and don't increase by accident, because I have a tendency of, when I slip stitch into the last round or the first stitch of the round, so to say, I have a tendency of slip stitching, like actually working in stitches in the slip stitch, even though the slip stitch is not to be counted as a stitch. And then I slowly increase. I looked at the measurements and was like, okay, that's gonna be fine. I'm going to have the smaller size. Apparently over time, because I didn't pay attention, I ended up increasing a little bit here, and now it fits with the large size. And now when I'm fitting the large size, I'm feeling it's basically at the smaller end for my head. I hope this is not gonna mess up my hair too much, but I am going to just take it on for a bit, and then I look a bit like I don't know, what should I call it? A monk with a summer hat. Please don't laugh too much. I do feel I'm looking really, really odd with this. But it fits. It fits. It doesn't have a lot of room, but it fits. Yeah, that was what I was fearing of. It does fit. I need to add another round, maybe 2 rounds. And then I'm about to start adding the brim. And the brim is very lovely patterned around. And that's basically what it's going to be. So far I'm quite happy that I ended up making the mistake that ended up making it probably a better fit for me. And I will continue working that off. What I like about this is the 100% cotton, or even if it's Merseyside, but the 100% cotton, is it's quite nice yarn to work with during this warmth, basically, because, you know, it just gives you a little bit more, like, it's not as sticky to your fingers and so on, but it's also a yarn that I can't work too long in, because I tend to get yarn fingers from the cotton yarns. So this is like, you can easily quickly see the tension of the yarn. But that's basically what I've been working on. And then I have a few other things. So that's basically what I've been working on the past week. Then last week, I also talked about some new projects that I wanted to maybe start on. And the projects I wanted to start on, at least I mentioned that last week, is the sheep that I had gotten some yarn for this summer, which is this kind of like a fluffy yarn, which is basically says soft around, but it is this very fluffy, I do believe, yeah, it's 68% polyester and 32% nylon, and it's basically this, if I can even get it out, this is like multiple stranded, very fluffy, in white, and then this gray for the head slash feet. Though the question is again, with this heat, do I want to work with this yarn? And it's gonna be a yarn where I really need to pay attention because of the fluffiness. So I haven't really decided if I'm gonna start on it yet. Just in case, and all precautions, I've added the link to that pattern down below, which I was thinking of making from it. It's a pattern that does require Go Handmade yarn. So it is a Go Handmade pattern, though I do believe this yarn should kinda symbolize it, and therefore it should be possible. But again, it's one of those projects where I'm not really sure of the outcome. Not much more to be said, actually. I might start on it this week. I'm not sure yet. But my goal is definitely to finish off the summer hat because it has this yarn that it's nice to work with. And then we have the baby blanket, which I'm probably not gonna work a lot with unless it starts really to cool off. It should slowly, but not a lot. It's still pretty warm for being September. It's like we're in the middle of September and we are having temperatures that we're supposed to have in the start of August. So I might work on that sheep amigurumi. Another thing that I have planned for this week is to progress some more work on the tutorial I'm making for the Leafy shawl. So that is a part of the time that I've set aside for my work time for this channel, is to continue working on that tutorial. And then of course I did find some yarns that I actually also are keen to start working with, even though I'm still not 100% sure because it is warm, though it might be okay because even though it's warm, it's a small project, and that's some more hats basically. And the yarn I want to use for this is this Papatia Joyful yarn. So we have it here. It's a yarn that I got from Pleta, though several stores do sell Papatia. Papatia is a Turkish brand made by Kamgarn. Kamgarn is a Turkish company basically making yarns, different yarns, plenty of different yarns. But they make this Papatia brand, and the Joyful is just lots of joyful colors, I assume, put together. This bowl, I expect this should be enough for a hat. It's 100 grams, so that's 3.5 ounces, and it comes at 200 meters, so that's 218 yards. 20% wool and 80% acrylic, so it's has the potential for a warmer or to keep warmth. They do say lay flat to dry. Don't iron, don't tumble dry, don't bleach. Can't be washed at 30 degrees. Again, these are around 85 Fahrenheit. And they recommend a crochet hook of 5 millimeters. So I will have to find out. I've never worked with this yarn before. So I'm going to find out that. But I have found my 5 millimeter crochet hook for it. And that's pretty much it. This is colorway 3. And they have like 12 different colors. This is colorway 3. And I have another skein, which is they're just single skeins. I only got one of each, so basically I'm hoping there's enough for that. I'm expecting there is, and then if there's anything left, then we'll see. And this is the other one I have, also from this Papatia Joyful yarn, and this is a colorway 5. So this is basically how they look, and they have the exact same specs except it's just different colors. So I am intending on making hats from these. And that was the first thought, at least. So that's the idea. And so it's going to be a hat week, at least by the seams, unless of course, and a shawl week, and so many other weeks. So I will be working on progressing on the on the Leafy shawl tutorial that I am making for you guys. It will still take a bit before it's ready. I know some of you desired for me to make it in a lighter yarn. So what I'm probably gonna make is I'm gonna finish up this tutorial, and then I might make a secondary one that I can link to this one should you want to find it in a lighter version, because most of you say that I explain things well enough to not need a lighter yarn, and a few requested a lighter yarn. So it's like the majority says it's good enough, and then I'm debating how I best can invest my time, basically. So I think right now I'm just gonna finish what I started, because I already put in some hours. So that's probably what's gonna happen. And then I might make a secondary version should enough still request that. So that's pretty much it for this yarn talk video this time around. On Thursday, we have a new giveaway coming up. Stay tuned for that one. Trust me, it's going to be absolutely awesome. At least I think it's a great giveaway. And that I would definitely try to win myself if I had the chance. And then on Friday, we have my 14th yarn haul from Hobby coming up. So that's my 14th official yarn haul from Hobby. So stay tuned on this channel for that. And of course, next week, Monday, I'll be back with a new yarn talk video. Thank you for this time around. And I hope that weather allows me to crochet more than what I fear it may. And take care. Happy crafting. Stay healthy. Until I see you again. Bye.